A woman was alone in a pitch-black room, although the chamber she was in was large. The lamp that was lit by her side was not enough to dispel the nighttime gloom that enveloped the entire world. She was waiting for her prey in the darkness. Roderick Allen Weishofen, that was the name of the man who was to be sacrificed. I can do it, no, I have to, from my father. She lived her whole life without knowing her name or her father's name. She always asked her father to tell her her name, and each time he always said this: "It would be too dangerous if I found out your real name. On the day when this father's revenge ends, on that day I will tell you your name." She, with fine silver hair and blue eyes, took out a dagger from her bosom with a stiff expression. It was an item that did not go well with her fancy and luxurious dress, but she looked at the dagger with eyes that could not tell what was in her mind. The gorgeous dagger, encrusted with violet diamonds in a scabbard made of platinum, was a treasure that her father treasured like his own body, a precious item that no one was allowed to touch. He had lent her such a precious sword. To kill her father's enemy, Duke Roderick Weishofen, you have to do well. I can't fail my father's expectations. She strengthened her resolve and hid the dagger again. To kill Roderick, she learned assassination skills from a young age. And it was 2 years ago that she entered this mansion posing as his lost only daughter. It was fortunate that her appearance was similar to that of the lost princess, Ella Heiling. A knocking sound was heard from her door. He came. She felt her heart sink. Am I not mentally prepared yet? No. Preparations had already been made a long time ago. But when it happened, she couldn't help but feel nervous. Eventually, the door opened, and Roderick Weishofen came in. He had black hair, blue eyes, and a strong body that belied his age of 40. The best swordsman in the Empire, and the head of the Weishofen family, the guardians of the Empire. I'm here, Ella. What were you doing without turning on the lights? Seeing her come into the room with a friendly smile on her face, it felt like something was prickling inside her chest. Not knowing that this is a trap aimed at taking his life, it's not my first time coming to your room. So I'm nervous for no reason. The door closed, and the two men were alone. Roderick's eyes suddenly became sharp. Is there anyone else in the room besides us? Pardon? Oh no. I was alone. Someone was hiding. Roderick was a swordmaster who transcended humanity. It seemed like he had sensed its presence with his keen senses. Stay behind me. Roderick wrapped her arms around her safely and walked toward the closet, where someone was hiding. It was an opportunity that will never come again. He turned his back on an assassin. She took out her father's hidden dagger, intending to kill him, and approached Roderick. Roderick turned and reflexively grabbed the blade. Ayla, what is this? He looked like he couldn't believe his daughter was suddenly pointing a knife. Blood was seen dripping from Roderick's hand as he held the blade with his bare hand. It's a success. The sharp blade was coated with deadly poison. Even Roderick, who transcended the human body, would not be able to overcome this deadly poison. Why are you? Not knowing that even at this very moment, a deadly poison is flowing through his veins, taking his life by the minute. Roderick's face was filled with only puzzlement. Ayla, don't call me by that name. I am not your daughter. Ayla, my daughter. As if the poison was doing its job faithfully, Roderick's once strong body lost strength and fell to the floor. But still, his resentment towards me could not be seen in his eyes. Why? I'm sorry, Ayla. I'm sorry. Despite the sound of heavy breathing, Roderick did not stop talking until the end. He just looked at her with eyes filled with affection. No, she tried to deny it, but she kept getting nauseous and couldn't open her mouth. The closet door opened, and the person hiding in the closet came out, red hair and bright amber eyes. An elegant gesture. He was my precious father. I'm finally getting rid of you. I said it. I will definitely get rid of you. I will keep that promise. His golden eyes glowed in the dark. His face was full of joy as he smiled brightly. You took my Ophelia, took my right hand. I wondered how to kill him most painfully. You are, Byron. Roderick's eyes widened as if he recognized my father. You're right, it's me, Byron. You remember it well. You shouldn't forget the name of the person you betrayed so easily. Goodbye, old friend. It doesn't go far. Byron closed his eyes with an expression of joy. As she watched the scene quietly, she let out the breath she had been holding. It was terrible. Oh dear, my daughter. You did your homework well. Byron approached her, who was unable to even think of moving, and snatched the dagger from her hand. I'll take this dagger back now. Thank you for your hard work. He took out a bottle of champagne from somewhere and poured it into a luxurious crystal glass. Byron smiled and elegantly took a sip of the champagne in his glass. Now, I guess I should tell you your name like I promised, right? Before that, shall we have a toast first? She looked down at the champagne glass he held in her hand. She didn't feel like drinking. Go ahead and drink it. You'll feel better. Let's talk later. She reflexively brought her glass to her mouth and drank it. Byron, who was watching her gulp down champagne, smiled, his eyes shining. Now tell me my real name. Your name is Ayla. The moment Byron opened his mouth, blood poured out of her mouth. You are Ayla Heilingweis. At that moment, Ala felt the world around her was spinning. The drink she sipped had poison. Moreover, it was her precious father who fed her poison. She couldn't believe the event unfolding before her. And she uttered her own name. I am Ayla. Ayla, the illegitimate child of Roderick and Ophelia, who was lost a decade ago. That Ayla? Every time I looked at you, it disgusted me. Those blue eyes, just like your father's. Your hair, the splitting image of my Ophelia, was the only redeeming feature. She had believed him her whole life, lived solely for her father's sake, even killed for her father. However, who she thought to be her father wasn't her father. The person she killed was her biological father. Ayla, thank you. I'm grateful to you. Thanks to you, my revenge against your father was perfectly executed. Kidnapping you, raising you as my daughter, and making you kill your biological father with your own hands, that was my plan for revenge against your father. She felt angry and resentful. Killing you on the same day as your father, Byron's laughter echoed in distress. It may or may not be comforting, but you don't have to worry about your mother. My Ophelia will be happy by my side. Someone's voice cried out her name, and a figure rushed toward her. Her blurred vision made it hard to recognize at first, but soon it became clear. Her mother. Tears welled up in Ophelia's affectionate violet eyes. The mother she had longed for vaguely all her life without knowing her real name. It was Ophelia. Even in death, she would not forgive that demon. Allah vowed to curse him, even if it meant remaining as a vengeful spirit. The price paid for deceiving and using her would be exacted in blood. Ayla Heilingweis lay beside her father, Roderick. Ayla Heilingweis died. She should have died. Betrayed by a man she had believed in all her life. She had killed her own biological father with her own hands. Pain, like her throat being torn apart. The agony of every single vein in her body being ripped apart. Such sensations remained vivid in her memory. But why? Why was she alive? Why was she breathing? She didn't even feel any pain. She sat up abruptly, gasping for breath. It felt like a nightmare, a terrible dream. She jerked her body upright, gasping for breath. It felt as if she had just woken from a nightmare, a terrible one. She scanned her surroundings, taking deep breaths to calm herself. An old stone wall covered in moss, Spartan furniture. What is this? She groped through her memories, and this landscape felt strangely familiar. She had seen this kind of scenery countless times before, in her childhood, wandering with the demon named Byron. The old wooden door creaked open, revealing a familiar face. It was Laura, her maid. You've awakened, young lady. From her early years, when she wandered with Byron, to disguising herself as a lady and entering the Duke's mansion, Laura had taken care of her. Although she was called a maid, in reality, Laura was tasked with observing her. Ayla looked at Laura. She realized that something was off. Allah observed Laura with a growing sense of unease. Laura seemed somewhat younger than she remembered. Laura must have been in her early 20s, yet why did she suddenly appear like a late teenager? Why are you staring like that? You need to wash up and change your clothes quickly. Hurry up and wash yourself. Before having a meal with the master, you need to do your morning training. She examined her own hands. They were small and childlike, almost as if they belonged to a young girl. It's unbelievable. There was no way. It feels as if I have. She hesitated, then took a deep breath and whispered to herself, time traveled back to when I was a child. Have I returned? Could it be that time had rolled backward? Returning, I returned to my childhood. Somehow, this seemed like a chance granted by fate. A chance to take revenge on the man who had deceived, used, and then discarded her. The man who had manipulated her entire existence.